Good morning, everyone. I am Tabitha with Tabs on Tap. Good morning. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic I was going to say, is it Wednesday? Is it Tuesday? I had to think about it for a second. Isn't that terrible? I don't even know what day it is. Every day is a Monday, right? But I believe today is Tuesday. Anyway, I'm starting a little bit more on time today. You guys probably weren't expecting me to get going normally on time because I'm always running late, but I'm working on my time management skills. But more than anything, I have to leave early today. So I'm only going to be on for an hour. Not a huge news day, so that is okay. And there's always something going on in the news, and never doubt that. So we still have plenty of things to talk about, but I do have to head out today, just a couple minutes before 8 a.m. duty calls. And what can I do? Sometimes I just have to make a run for it. As you guys know, I have a super crazy busy schedule, so not a whole lot of room to move. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Hopefully, you're having off to a good week. Some of the things I want to talk about today. Have you seen the Cats for Trump campaign? We're going to get into that and why that is a thing. Hunter Biden for president. You may hear that. You may hear that. Good morning. Sorry about that, guys. And I wasn't seeing any of your comments either. Hopefully, you're still here and with me. Good morning, Dottie. Good morning, Allison. And Georgia and Dottie again. And let's see here. Yes, I know I froze. Good morning, Kim and Kevin. Hopefully the stream picked up where it left off. I think it did. I still see you guys there. I'm not sure what happened there, but it happens sometimes. I haven't had my screen freeze in a while, but every once in a while I'll say reconnecting, reconnecting, and I don't know. It's probably people over there flagging me like you're not talking about that today, and it causes it to do a little temporary skip. But we'll see. We'll see if things continue on, because man, we've got a lot to talk about today. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if this will or won't surprise you. We're going to play a little video of Arnold, and I'm going to say, see you later, Terminator. I've always liked Terminator, maybe not so much anymore. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. I want to talk about soda. I know we already know soda is bad, but it's not just soda, it is all of these different food products. Is it possible that the food companies are paying scientists to say that these ingredients are healthy when really they're actually addictive? Are we addicting our children? Are we addicting ourselves to chemicals, sugar, and all these other things, and yet being lied to and told that it's safe? Remember when we had the food pyramid? Do you remember that? When it switched around and all of a sudden Captain Crunch made its way all the way to the top of the food pyramid? You can't tell me that that's not bought and paid for. It certainly is. So cats for Trump. Do you know what this is? Do you know what's going on here? Cats for Trump. Take a look at that. I think that's so funny. If you go out and look, There are a bazillion memes out there with Trump that say cats for Trump, ducks for Trump, that type of thing. Well, where this originated is that, as you probably know, our country has been invaded. I don't have to tell you that, preaching to the choir. I know our country has been invaded. And we there's a small town in Ohio in which, of course, under the Biden Harris regime, they shipped out 20,000. Think about this, a small town in Ohio, 20,000 Haitians were brought in to this small town in Ohio. And what has surfaced are videos of these Haitians capturing and killing and eating people's pets, cats in particular, and ducks, and probably all sorts of other animals. And it's highly unfortunate that we had to see those videos. I watched a couple of them and then deleted it. It's crazy. Yes, soda, Senior Dingleberry. Thank you, Kim. Yes, I am back. Good morning, Cindy. Cindy, I'm going to be reaching out to you later. We got to talk. Can you imagine these Haitians coming into your neighborhood? Or if you see people, illegals in your area, and you have to worry about your outdoor cat getting captured and eaten? But that's what they've brought into our country, isn't it? That's exactly what they've brought into our country. People who want to eat your pets, and worse, so much worse. And so you're going to see a lot of these memes about cats for Trump, ducks for Trump, and it's absolutely hilarious. I am going to post a bunch of those on my Facebook page probably throughout the day, and eventually the story will come out. More people will be talking about it. Dottie, Venezuela has no dogs or cats left. I know, because it's crazy to think about that in other countries it's totally normal to eat cats and dogs. Completely normal. And you've probably eaten some cat and dog and don't even know it. I'm not, and I am not kidding you. I have seen stories about restaurants being raided and they're pulling rats and cats and other animals out of the freezer. So don't think that a little bit hasn't probably been snuck to you in the past. Unless you cook it at home, man, you have no idea what you're getting. No, no idea. Good morning, Ryan. And it's a shame, but 20,000 Haitians brought into a small Ohio town. Man, we've got to stop. We've got to stop the invasion. We have to stop the invasion. Anyone that didn't catch me at the beginning of the show, I'm only going to be here for an hour today. I'm going to be cutting out just a couple minutes for 8 p.m. or 8 p.m. Gosh, it's another Monday, 8 a.m. because I have to work. I work in anti-piracy, as some of you guys know, and we have a big screening this morning where I absolutely must attend. Sometimes I can hire other folks to do some work for me, but not today, not today. But I have a lot to talk about though, either way in a short amount of time. So speaking of illegals, speaking of migrants being brought into our country, we've said again for a long time, oh gosh, Dottie says Aldi was selling prepackaged frozen meals with horse meat. I heard that, Dottie. I heard that they were selling that and other strange meats as well. I don't eat Aldi meat. I don't mind Aldi. I'll shop there and get vegetables but for whatever reason when I look at their meat aisle, their meat just looks strange to me. Now, maybe it looks strange because it's actually healthier and I'm used to eating junk meat. I don't know. But their meat does not look normal to me. Allison, when I was in South Korea, in the open markets, they sold skinned dogs. Yes, yes, I have a friend who lived in Seoul for quite some time and saw the fact that these people ate dogs all the time and in cats. I'm not going to name any names, but there are some restaurants out there. Some restaurants, Chinese restaurants, or different types of Asian restaurants where they've been raided and they have brought out again bags of rats, bags of cats. You really have no you have no idea what you're eating. No idea. And Lori says, same purple meat at Aldi's. Yeah, their meat is really strange looking. But again, maybe that's because it's healthier. Some people say that Aldi actually has a healthier version of meats and foods and different things. So I don't know. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe I don't know what good healthy meat looks like. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Not surprised at all. But man, It's coming. What's going to happen with all of the invasion of our country? It's already started here. What's going to happen, when we have all these different cultures and you're not going to really escape it? We have, well, what are they pushing on us? Bugs, the alternative protein, cricket flour is a thing. There's no joke. We've talked about it in the past so many times, but there's no kidding. You can go and look at the back of a label at the store, and they're already using cricket flour and different types of bug protein in your foods. Now, that's not extremely unusual because they've always used like beetles and other types of bugs to provide some type of flavoring and some type of coloring to food products. So it's not crazy unusual, but now all of a sudden they're starting to dip dip different types of foods into this cricket flour and sell it to you. And unless you're looking at the ingredients, you have no idea what you're getting. No idea. Kevin, let's see here. Possibly better meat. It could be. I've heard that better meat is more purple, and because real meat actually looks different than what we're used to seeing, like on the shelves of, let's say locally, we have Schnucks or Deerbergs or Walmart in particular, where I can't imagine the selection of meat is very good. When you think about it, when you're getting a pack of hamburger and you're getting the DNA, literally a test was done, the DNA of 1,000 different animals, bits and pieces from different animals. And I've never worked, of course, at a slaughterhouse. I don't know anyone that does, but I've certainly read the stories where they can have diseased animals and they just cut that part off, take the rest of it, shred it up into hamburger. That's what they do with bad cuts of meat. I'm terrified of hamburger. I prefer to have a shredded steak or some type of hamburgered steak. Jay, you're getting some bugs in your food regardless because the FDA allows so much. That's true. I heard one time. I don't know if it's true, but if you've ever bought instant mashed potatoes and you see these little brown flecks, now I think that's potato skin personally, but people have said no, that's actually parts of rat or bugs that have fallen into the vat, and they allow so much filler. Look at hot dogs. Everybody loves a hot dog, right? But there's a lot of evidence that they put different types of grub worms and other things as fillers, and they're allowed to use, what is it, 20% filler, I believe. And there's even been some products tested that had human DNA, because when you're making these products, sometimes these people are sweating into the food. There might be saliva in the food. People have lost fingers in the food, and guess what? They don't always stop and take it out. As gross as that sounds, they are allowed a certain amount of human DNA in there as well. Karen, I buy a cow every year. I know the farmer and have never had purple meat. Well, Karen, I would love to know your farmer because I'm thinking about doing exactly that. Dottie, I get most of my meat from a local farm. It does not look like what's in stores. No, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure that it doesn't. When I was younger, we used to buy a quarter of a cow, a half of a cow, and I just don't recall what it looked like at the time. But I'm always in a hurry, and I'm sure I'm not buying the best of the meat that's out there. But I'm going to work on it. Oh gosh, Kevin, finger food. Isn't that the truth? So as our country becomes this takeover, this invasion continues, what's going to happen? These cultures are getting mixed in, right? They're getting mixed in with everything else we do. Because look what we are now. We are literally a mixture of different cultures. So as more of these different cultures take over in our country, obviously, and that's exactly what's happening in Ireland. It's what's happening in Australia. And they don't show this on mainstream news. I don't understand why. Have you turned on Fox National or CNN or MSNBC or Newsmax, any of these shows? They're not talking about it. There is a takeover that is happening right now, an invasion above anything that we're seeing here in our country, in Ireland and in Australia. And it's no doubt that they will have, at some point, they will both become Muslim countries. It will happen. And I am not the only person that talks about this. I'm going to show you a video here. This is a gentleman who is in Australia, and he is explaining that, hey, Sharia law is already there. It is. And now there's a party called Australian One, and maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, I'm going to show you and talk a little bit about Australian one because they are trying to save their country from Sharia law. I personally think it's probably too late. And why I'm showing this and why I'm talking about it is, for one, because no one else is. And why aren't they showing you? Why aren't they talking about it? Because it's going to tell you that, you know what, it's happening here too. We're oblivious to it, most of us, because we're going about our daily lives. We have, kids, we have families, we have dinner to cook, breakfast to cook, kids to get off to school, lunches to make. We've got to go and we've got to work, and maybe we even bring our work home with us. We're all very busy people. We don't always see what's going around. But man, it is coming, and I don't think we can stop it. I don't think we can stop it. And it's here. It's in the United States. And it's not so much even about Muslim, because there are some really good Muslim people. It is not about Muslim in general. It is about the fact that Sharia law will eventually take over in Australia and Ireland. It already has. As a matter of fact, I've heard if you go to Dublin, Dublin looks nothing like what you might think it looks like anymore. It has been taken over. So take a quick look at this.
It's inevitable. The Muslims will take over.
Will they take over Australia?
Well, it's inevitable.
Now, 7 News has learned he's called on supporters to impose strict Sharia law on residents and businesses in Lakemba. Dubbed the Lakemba Project, he wants to enforce...
No smoking.
What else?
No drinking, no gambling, no music, no prostitution, no porn. Think about it. Think about in the wisdom of it.
New posters warn against the banned activities.
It totally goes against Australian rights, traditions and our heritage. It destroys our values, Australian values.
Conlon claims to have told tobacco sellers and liquor shops they'll have to go.
You want to live under Sharia law? Go to a Muslim country.
It's not a game to go play around with. It's not a playing card or something.
I think it's an awful idea, mate. I think it's the thin end of the...
It's happening. And don't think it can't happen here. We talk about the things that we see in other countries often, and how we're always just a little bit of a step behind. But, here in the United States, we also, and we've talked about it so many times, the no-go zones. We already have Sharia law here in some of these no-go zone areas. So don't think it cannot become more widespread. And I'm not even going to show you the videos out of Ireland because they are so incredibly disturbing, where you have migrants in the streets attacking people. Some of these migrants are children, 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, attacking people, attacking the Irish in the streets, man. And yes, Allison, we did have a troll, but he has been taken care of. That is one thing I can do from the operations on my end if I see it. So thank you for letting us know. What are we going to do? Are you going to allow Sharia law to take over your country? I mean, don't you see that happening under Harris and Walz? Because we will be weak. We will be weak. And they will be able to take advantage of us. We know that just like they did under Biden, just like they did under Obama, nothing is going to change. We're going to see and continue to see this influx of illegals coming into our country. And like I started out the show talking about, this whole Cats for Trump movement. And Genevieve said the duck story yesterday wigged me out. Yes, we had 20,000 Haitians, illegals, brought into a small Ohio town. And there's video in which they are capturing and killing people's pets, cats, ducks, which is where the whole theme and memes are coming from, with cats and ducks for Trump. It is crazy. What are we doing? And then we have Harris. Of course, we have the big debate tomorrow night, right? Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I don't have to work tomorrow night. I'm going to be watching it. I cannot wait. Even CNN is going, I think, against Harris, which is strange to me that CNN has taken the position. Have you guys noticed that CNN has taken the position that they have? I've seen numerous articles coming out of CNN, numerous videos kind of going against Harris. And they did it again yesterday. Yesterday in CNN, they made an article that talked about how in 2019, Harris was she outwardly publicly supported defunding ICE. She publicly supported providing free surgeries to transgender people who are illegals, people who are here in our country, illegal, people who are on detention centers. So that means, according to CNN, this is according to CNN, that if you were illegal and you came into our detention center and you were being held there, that we, the United States government, would potentially provide you with a gender reassignment surgery, paid for, of course, by the taxpayer. I mean, so this is CNN reporting this. It is insane. These are some of the policies that she supported. Jay says it all depends on who it is at CNN. Man, it's crazy. So, oh yeah, you're right, Sarah. I told you I don't know what day today is. It is today, tonight. Losing my mind. I have to leave for work here at 8 a.m. And then tonight it is. I don't have to work. I'll tell you, I know this is kind of sidetracking. I work so much. I work on Saturdays, I work on Sundays, on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. So all of the days get mixed together for me. So thank you for correcting me on that, Sarah. Most of the time when I come in and start the show, I have no idea what day it is. Like I said, when I first, if any of you guys go back and see when I first opened the show this morning, I'm like, happy Tuesday, Wednesday. I didn't know what day it was. So thank you. Yes, today is Tuesday. Today is debate day. And of course, Harris allegedly, again, according to CNN, according to CNN, she's been holed up in debate camp in a hotel, and she claims she has no time. She can't get out. She can't do anything. All she's doing is studying for the debate. She has that fake Trump who's acting like Trump and berating her, and she's trying to figure out how to counteract. They're going over all of his old debate tapes. She has met with Hillary Clinton. She's talked, not Biden, because Biden probably doesn't even remember any debate with Trump. But you know what? Yes, Allison, I do need a vacation, but I don't have one coming anytime soon. And we're going to talk about that too, because maybe you guys can join me in some of this exciting work coming up in the near future. Do you see the little ticker that's going around at the bottom? To make sure you guys take a look at that. Turnout for Trump, $40 an hour, up to 90 hours a week. We must stop being complacent. You know what? All of this stuff we're talking about, all of it. Jay says, since my son started college part-time, I have no idea what day it is. I'm with you. I never know what day it is. All the days are the same for me. I do the exact same routine outside of the show every single day. So I'm always, always busy. But I'll tell you what, everything we're talking about today, and we're going to talk about a lot more stuff here. We're going to go back and talk about the debate as well. Stop being complacent, right? I know we're busy. I know we all have a lot going on. There's always a lot happening. And, especially me, I know I'm busy, but I'll tell you what, we have to step up. We have to do our part. And I'm not saying that you have to drop everything you're doing and running off and joining the Trump campaign, but if you want to, the opportunity is there. If you go to turnoutfortrump.com, you can see the website on the ticker going across the bottom. You can fill out a very brief little application. It's just a matter of putting in your name, your address, your phone number, and then they will contact you and they will ask you, hey, are you available to work part-time? Are you available to work full-time? Are you interested in being a volunteer? And what we are doing and what we must do is turn out the Trump. They received a donation for, I believe it was $100 million. And so they are paying people, you, me, they are paying people to go out and get the vote for Trump. Haven't we always said that Democrats are so fantastic at getting the vote out? They'll hire buses and bus people to the polls. They have people going out with little pads of paper door to door, registering people to vote. Allegedly, they are paying people to vote in some cases. And so we have to fight fire with fire. If we don't step up and do what we have to do, we have no chance whatsoever, because not only do we have to beat Harris, we have to beat all the extra votes they're adding in. So that means we have to do double time. If they say it takes 100 million votes, then you know what? We need 150 million votes. I know that's not going to happen, but that's what we need. We have to get people to the polls. And this is your opportunity to get up and to do something. Turnoutfortrump.com. Go on, fill out your information, talk to someone there. Again, if you can't leave your home, they have volunteers. But I will tell you one thing, and it might be me, because I think we have to do what we have to do. I very well may be joining the Trump campaign. I might be leaving my home one day this week and heading out to one of the battleground states to do my part. And I think you all need to do the same if you can. I know people have work, people have businesses. I have work. I work all the time. But you know what? This is our only shot. We have to win this election. We have to win this election. And so this is an opportunity for you to do your part. So please go on to turnoutfortrump.com, sign up. It doesn't matter if you're volunteering, it doesn't matter if you want to go out and get paid. You can head over with me to Chattanooga, Tennessee this week. And I'm not kidding. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But you can head over to Chattanooga, Tennessee and go out and canvass door to door to Republican homes and make sure that people go out and vote. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later this week. Lots going on behind the scenes, but we have to. You know why? You know why we have to? Take a look at this. Let's see here. Right here in Missouri, as a matter of fact, we always think in Missouri nothing happens, right? Not true. We already have what 78,421 people registered to vote. Now, this was in February. This took place in February of 2024. In 1 week, think about this, in a 1 week time, there were 78,421 people who registered to vote in 1 week in February. Out of that 78,000, 23,253 were dead voters. So, who is working behind the scenes in Missouri to get the vote out for Harris? Someone is. Someone is. Because I can guarantee you these 23,000 dead voters aren't going to be voting for Donald Trump. So we have to fight harder than they're fighting. We have to. Ryan says if Harris does poorly tonight, I think she or they will install her. Do you mean, I'm not sure what you mean, Ryan. Do you mean they'll get rid of her if she doesn't do well tonight? I don't think they can. I think they're too far down the road, if that's what you're trying to say, to get rid of her. I don't expect her to do well in the debate. I really don't. You know, she's been again in this debate camp, and allegedly all these insults that Trump has hurled at her in the past, she's going to have a comeback for those. But the Trump campaign, you know, they're pretty smart folks over there. They're not going to use any of the material they've used in the past. They're going to come at her hard. And it's unfortunate that the debate is going to be on ABC. So Trump, as some of you probably know, has a lawsuit against ABC. Yet he is supposed to go and debate Harris on a network in which he is suing currently, has a current lawsuit against them for defaming him. And yes, Jay, I do believe, unfortunately, they are stuck with her now. And Linda, I'll have to listen to the first part later, trying to drink coffee and rethink my diet. You and me both, Linda. I think I need to rethink mine too. I don't think Harris will do well. I cannot wait to see it later. And I'm glad you guys reminded me that it's today and not tomorrow. And Allison said he just needs to focus on policy. He does need to focus on policy. And I really hope that as much as she irks him, I can tell you I'm going to be losing my mind watching it. As much as she irks him, I hope that he keeps his cool. I hope that he stays calm. I hope he doesn't do anything that would be insulting to her, because there are people on the fence who don't like to see that. There are Democrats out there, a lot of Democrats who are on the fence, people who would never have voted for Trump or voted Republican, but yet don't want socialism in their country. If he turns against her and if he goes too far, I think that some of those people are going to go the opposite direction, or they're just going to choose not to vote at all. I've heard a lot of Democrats out there are just not going to vote at all because they don't want to vote for Trump and they don't want to vote for Harris, so they're just choosing not to vote. Ryan says, I mean, install her as a president. Then they will stage some incident so she can cancel the election. Now, that wouldn't surprise me at all, Ryan. That would not surprise me at all, because we know they're certainly capable of it. And I think that it's going to be a tough battle, as we know. But, you know, the one thing we have to do is we just have to have the votes in. If we can get the votes in to show that Trump has more votes than Harris, that we have outmaneuvered them, even with their cheating, then they're still going to try to not certify the election. But at least we have the vote so we can say we did our part. So please just think about that. Dottie, voting for spite. I'll tell you, speaking of, I wasn't going to play this right now, but let's just get right into it. Take a look at this. I'm not going to say that this surprises me with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm really not. But I feel like this man has absolutely no room for a public platform to talk about anything, particularly lies, because I think we all know a little bit about Arnold Schwarzenegger's past when it comes to lies. So take a quick look at this.
Now, I grew up in the ruins of a country that suffered the loss of its democracy. It all started with lies and lies and lies and intolerance. So being from Europe, I've seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here. Now, I do not believe it is, but I do believe that we must be aware of the dire consequences of selfishness and cynicism. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. He sought a coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies, and I know where such lies lead.
Here's a guy the country he came from, of course, was communist, and yet here he is talking about lies, going against Donald Trump, going against conservatives, the very people who are trying to save the country from communism and socialism and Marxism. And here he is talking about about how about him and his father, and about the lies that Trump tells and the cynicism from this guy. Remember when he had this very public scandal? Do you remember that, when he cheated on his wife Maria Shriver with his housekeeper who lived in the home, who I'm not going to get into what I was getting ready to say. I'll just leave it at that. And ended up having a child with the housekeeper. And this housekeeper was raising this kid in his home under his wife's nose. And this is the guy who is coming on and talking about lies, talking about conservatives in the Trump campaign. Uh, and then he's kind of saying, "Oh, well, we're not going to go there about communism. Oh, it's probably not happening in this country." Yeah, Arnold, wake up. Where did you come from? Didn't your parents teach you better? Man, and I liked him. And even through his crazy scandal, I still supported him because I thought, people make mistakes. People make mistakes, and then they learn from mistakes. His was a big whopper of a mistake, no question about it. But people do make mistakes. And, I thought eventually he did the right thing, and he kind of formed a relationship with that son that he had with the housekeeper slash nanny. But man, Kevin, propagandist Schwarzenegger, it is crazy. I didn't play it. I probably should. Do you remember when Ricky Gervais went to one of the award ceremonies and he gave that big speech, and people were just like, "Oh my God, did he really just say that?" I don't think he's ever has done anything in in those circles again. I don't recall ever seeing his face again after that. But he came on. I just watched the video the other day, and he was talking about people who are actors or musicians, and he's like, "No one cares what you have to say about politics." And he made the joke about how so many of them had a lesser education than Greta Thunberg. I thought that was so funny. And he was saying, you know what, when you get up on the stage today, keep your political opinions to yourself. We don't care what you think. You do your job, right? And of course, they got rid of him, blackballed, and he's no longer around. But hey, he got his words in, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I feel the same way. I'm like, you know what? If you are a celebrity, if you are an actor or an actress or anybody else, or if you're an athlete, you know what? Keep your opinions to yourself on the public platform. Keep them to yourself, because there are so many people who I really had a lot of respect for until they came out and stood on their soapbox and gave their opinion. Now, us, on the other hand, is a different story. We are citizens. We're not out there. We are who we are. Many of us know far more about politics than any of those people do. So it is absolutely crazy, as is everything in the world right now. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to win this. We all have to watch the debate tonight. We all have to see what's going on. I think she is going to go up in flames. I really do. I don't see any way out. I think she's going to sit there and cackle and giggle, and she's going to be nervous. And Trump, like somebody on the comment line said, it swirled through already, and I don't see it anymore. But there are people on the fence, and he's going to have to keep his cool. He's going to have to be careful. Good morning, Karen. I really wish that we had a big debate party going on, as I was saying yesterday. It would be so much fun to watch the debate with other people. I wish I had a way to do it here, but I don't know of any way to set up a TV screen and us be able to talk interactively. I wish we could have done that because that would have been a lot of fun because and I know, you and I both know. Remember when whenever she thought about running for president in what was it? Was it 2020? 2016? I can't remember which year it was. I think it was 2020. And she was the first person, remember, out when it came to the very first debate. But have you noticed they don't debate like that anymore? I don't understand why. To me, of course, Harris would not debate on Fox. Why? For the same reason that Trump probably shouldn't be debating on ABC. I think that I think that a presidential candidate should have to debate. I think that there should be a series of debates between presidential candidates. As much as we don't like Hillary Clinton, she and Trump debated, a couple of times. We were able to see that happen a couple of times. They had town halls. Remember that? Now, of course, they cheated because they gave her the questions ahead of time and, of course, went very easy on her. But I absolutely do think that whenever it comes to a presidential election, they should be forced to at least sign up for, I'm going to say, at least 2 debates minimum. I'm thinking more along the lines of 3 or 4. And I think they should be forced to do it on different media channels, on conservative media and on liberal media, because it needs to be a fair playing field. But the Harris regime absolutely refused to debate Trump at Fox. Refused. And of course, they're not going to do it on any of the other conservative networks like, America Online News or Newsmax. That will never happen. So Trump is forced to debate Harris on ABC. I think we're all going to be talking in the morning and we're going to be angry at how this all plays out because they're going to go so easy on her and they're going to go so hard on him and he has to mind his P's and Q's because if he does not, man, things are going to get crazy. And speaking of debates, I know this sounds absolutely insane. It might sound like the craziest thing you've ever heard, but I have, I read all these different back channels. I talk to a lot of different people. I'm always getting little bits and scraps of information, which I have to go back and kind of put together. But one of the things that came out yesterday, which I was extremely surprised to see, was Hunter Biden's name in the news again. And, it doesn't surprise me to think that Joe Biden would want his legacy, however good or bad it is, to carry on. But I read, I read that Joe Biden actually thinks that Hunter Biden, there's a possibility that someday he could be president, and that allegedly Joe Biden is raising him and grooming him and teaching him all about all things presidential. In fact, Hunter Biden, they have so involved in some of this stuff. Remember not too long ago, I talked about it a lot on the show, where we had the situation in Bangladesh, where we had Sheikh Hasina, who there was a coup that was staged. Sheikh Hasina had to flee her home. Do you remember when all of these people, I showed the videos, stormed her house, broke through the gates? You could see them laying on her bed through her house. She had to flee to Europe. And there is a group out there, and it's called the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. And what I am seeing is that somehow, how this happened, I'll never know. Somehow Hunter Biden became a lobbyist for this group. And so they are allegedly behind Sheikh Hasina having to flee Bangladesh. And look what's happened in Bangladesh since that time. So they're teaching Hunter Biden the ways of the cabal is what it is. Because, think about it. These people, they're not going to be here forever. All of the people that we know that are in this cabal, people who are in the deep state, they have to bring new members in. And a lot of it is from generation to generation. Look at the Bushes, right? Generational. With Obama, I don't know. Are his daughters going to get involved? I don't know. But it makes perfect sense that Joe Biden would have his family members and his son Hunter right in the middle of things. So if this is true, this is pretty crazy because what's happening right now in Bangladesh is unbelievable. because this Bangladesh Nationalist Party, after they took over for Sheikh Hasina and put their own leader in charge, they have gone out. They are going door to door, just like the Taliban, pulling the Bangladeshi people out of their homes, pulling the Hindu out of their homes, sometimes lynching them, killing them, imprisoning them, forcing them to flee their homes, burning their business. And this continues. What has it been, a month now? This has been going on. And now we hear that somehow Hunter Biden was the person who lobbied for this group to come over into Bangladesh and take over. Man, I just can't believe it. And I hope we never see his name in the political arena. I really do. I really hope that all goes away very, very quickly, because I just cannot even imagine a world with Hunter Biden in it. Can you? I mean, things are crazy as it is. We had what? Obama bringing the Muslim Brotherhood into the White House, right? We had Hillary Clinton, of course, bringing Rosatom and all of the uranium. Remember her big scandal? And then we have Biden, of course, Joe Biden and the Biden crime family, $27 million from China. We all know about Burisma, all of this money coming into the Biden family. And now we have them trying to bring Hunter Biden into the big cabal, into the big deep state. No, thank you. I guess we'll be legalizing meth and crack across the country next. Not that that would surprise me, because believe it or not, in Canada, in British Columbia, Canada, they legalize. I know this sounds crazy and completely off topic from where I was going, but in British Columbia, Canada, they have actually legalized small amounts. I believe it might be 2 grams or smaller of fentanyl. Yes, fentanyl or methamphetamines. So in British Columbia, Canada, you can buy what would normally be considered illegal street drugs. You can purchase them and use them without any type of reprimand, any type of punishment. So to me, they're attempting to addict people to these drugs. It makes no sense to me. But I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen here, because as these new people come in and take over the deep state, take over the cabal that runs this country, I'm not sure what's going to happen. And just so you guys know, I cannot see your comments anymore. I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know what's going on today with my system. It's kind of been off to a weird start all morning, but I don't have too much more time. As you guys know, I have to leave a little bit earlier today. I have to go to work, and you never know. I might be running off this week to join the Trump campaign. And if anyone would like to join me, make sure you go to turnoutfortrump.com. And the way this organization works, I'll talk more about it tomorrow. You can work up to 90 hours per week. You can, 90 hours per week. They're going to pay you $40 per hour. You would be a 1099 contractor. They will set up an app for you, and then they will take that money every other week and put it in your app. It's build.com, and then you can access your money from that app. So I really think people should consider it. It's not about the money. It really isn't, even though I was told that there are people who go out and canvass in these battleground states. And you know what? We have 55 days left to election time. And during that time, some of these people they go in, let's say, boyfriend, girlfriend teams, friend teams, and they come back with $30,000 for canvassing. And it's not about the money. It's about fighting fire with fire, about doing what Democrats do, about getting the vote out for Donald Trump. If we don't win this thing now, we will never have another opportunity. We'll never have another opportunity. Every single time Donald Trump comes up against them, they make more rules and more laws and put more plans into place to make sure that it never happens again. Because each time we do, they see where we're strong at, and then they shut us down, which is, of course, exactly why they're trying to shut down social media, right? We all know what they're trying to do to social media. And I'm telling you, they are doing it faster than we know. So I only got a few minutes left. I want to jump into the soda. And I apologize that I can't read your comments or see what you're saying. I have no idea why my comment line is not working. I've had a weird internet connection today, so I'm guessing that it's because of that. But it also could be people reporting me. For whatever reason, yesterday and Friday, whenever somebody reports the show, and what you can do, let's say if you are watching the show and you want to report it, you just go up there and toggle report for whatever reason. They'll ask you why, and they'll tell me, there's a lot of information they'll give me as being the owner of the show or the owner of my own page. And for whatever reason, this never happened before, but Friday and yesterday, I had all of these flags. So somebody is going on to the show and they're flag, 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 just pressing the flag button over and over. So thank you for that, whoever it is. And so that's probably going to cause us some issues, but we'll see what happens. So far, they haven't deleted the show over it, but we'll see. But before we go, I do want to talk about poison in our food. And as you guys know, eventually I'm going to be breaking things down into segments. I'm going to have some people come on and join the show, guests, as soon as I have time to work these things out. And we're going to talk about poison in our foods. We're going to talk about butchers and, of course, going and buying your own cow, buying a quarter of a cow, a half of a cow. We're going to organize some groups where we can come together, people who live in close proximity, and maybe we can all go in on some kind of a plan together. So we're going to talk about that, get some organization going to all be a little bit healthier. We're going to talk about gardening and that type of stuff going forward. But in the meantime, this is Dr. Phil's show, and they are talking about food ingredients, about addictive food ingredients. And it's a longer article. You can go on my Telegram page and watch a little bit more of it. But they're talking about sodas here. And then I'm not going to play the whole video, but then they go on to talk about cereals and other things you feed your children, things you eat yourself, in which are seriously, it's poison. And it's really a shame that in this country we have the FDA, which in my opinion is a criminal organization. And in the FDA, if they don't approve of food, then guess what? You don't get to eat the food. You don't get to consume the food. They have to approve it first. Otherwise, we saw what the FDA does if they don't like something you're eating, if it doesn't go through the FDA, because of course that's how they make money. So it's interesting to know that there are scientists out there that work for these food companies that are paying paying it off, and that's how you end up with these chemicals, sugars, and other addictive substances. So we're going to get right to it now. Or maybe now, sooner or later.
Let me get this straight. You're saying that the major beverage companies, food companies, all of them, are bribing the scientists, bribing the regulatory agencies to endorse their formulas, their ingredients for food, to say that they're good, say that they're okay. And in fact, those ingredients are meant to addict people to the foods that they're selling.
It's the express purpose. I was shocked as a junior employee to see a list of names of professors from Harvard, from Tufts Nutrition School, from Stanford. And as a junior employee working for the food companies as a consultant, I steered money to those schools. The food industry funds nutrition research in this country 11 times more than the NIH. You are loath to find a nutrition researcher who's not directly paid with a direct consulting agreements bribes, and their research is predominantly funded by the food industry. I can tell you from working for this industry that that's not out of a philanthropic goodwill for unbiased research. The food industry is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on nutrition research to enhance their.
All right. So that gives you the gist of what he's trying to say. They're going to go on and talk about cereal and about a bunch of other products. I don't think anything here surprises you. It doesn't surprise me. I think we all know this is going on. But what I really like to see is that people like Dr. Phil, people who have a platform to come out and publicly talk about it, because so many people don't understand. And I know, many years ago, many years ago, I used to drink soda all the time. This was back when we had the Coke, and then remember when they changed it to the new Coke, and then the new Coke was disgusting, so they went back to the classic Coke, and then they started calling it classic Coke. Back then, I drank soda every single day. And then one day I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Soda is so bad for you. It makes you bloated. It does all kinds of things to your system. And I remember at that time, and I've told you guys about the story before, reading about people dying from drinking sodas because it erodes your esophagus, it erodes your stomach, and it causes it can actually cause parts of your esophagus, parts of your stomach tissue to die. And it has actually killed people, but they don't want you to know that. They're going to cover that up, right? So I quit drinking it for a long time. But here's what's so crazy and why I think it's an addiction. because you stop drinking it for a long time. And then all of a sudden, if you drink one soda, well, guess what? You're going to drink 100 of them, right? It's hard to go and just drink one. Then you get sucked right back into the same thing. Why is that? It's because it's addictive, because there are chemicals in your sodas that are addictive. They're doing this to you on purpose. They want you to be addicted to these different chemicals. Why? Because you'll keep buying the products. I mean, think about the history of soda. What happened to Coca-Cola when it first came out? And again, I cannot read the comments, so I apologize. Some of you guys are probably already talking about this. How did Coca-Cola start, right? There was cocaine. That's why it's called Coca-Cola. In the original recipe, there was cocaine. Why? Because the person who invented Coca-Cola wanted you to be addicted to it. They wanted you to be addicted, so you'd keep buying it. One of the first addictive drugs out there, right? And that has not changed. Now, they may not be using cocaine anymore, but they're using other addictive substances, and sugar is no better. Sugar feeds cancer. It feeds so many diseases in the body, and sugar is extremely addictive. And trust me, I know. It's so hard for me to avoid. I love cupcakes and cakes and stuff like that. I'm not a big ice cream person, but there's a lot of sugary things that I would love to have and have had. And once you start, you can't stop. But then once you stop and once you get these things out of your system, once you get soda out of your system, once you get all the sugar out of your system, then it's hard to maintain that, but yet you can. And you can, just like alcohol addiction, just like drug addiction. Once you stop, you can't just have a little bit, because once you have a little bit, then you're right back on that same pattern. And for me personally, I try to drink tea and other things, and I try to stay away from soda. And it's so hard because I'll be out and I'll be with family members or other people. Oh, here's a soda. I'm like, no, it's so hard. It's really hard. But anyway, I hate that I can't read your comments. I don't have anybody to talk to. But anyway, I appreciate you guys coming in and joining me today. I hate to cut this show short. You guys are probably talking amongst yourselves and you can carry on. But I must leave, unfortunately, because I have to run off to work. I'll be back tomorrow with a normal full show. Everything will be hopefully back to normal. Hopefully we'll have comments and all that good stuff in the morning. And again, we're going to talk about the debate tomorrow. There's going to be so much to cover. I'm going to hopefully have some video clips to show you of some of the best debate moments. If you guys need anything, if you want to talk more about turnout for Trump, get a hold of me. I will put you in touch with somebody. If you're considering joining turnoutfortrump.com, if you want to go out and canvass, it doesn't matter where, where the battleground states are. I can hook you up with my contact, and text me at 314-546-2677. I will let you know where to go and who to talk to. You don't even have to fill out the application online. I can just send you over to someone to talk to directly. I know they are still looking for at least 10,000 people. That's a lot, 10,000 people across the battleground states. But you have to sign up by this weekend, because they're doing their last training this weekend. So you have to sign up now. We have to get out the vote. We've got 55 days to get the vote out. We have to start now. So, all right, guys. Well, that's about it for me today. I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I will go back. I know you are probably commenting, even though I can't see it. I will go back onto Facebook. I'll go back onto X. I'll go back onto YouTube, some of the places where I normally have comments, and I will catch up to you there. I think and hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm Tabitha.